Hey church, hope you're doing well with your fasting. We are still on our topic of reverence, and I am just going to share a couple of thoughts about my experience with fasting and particularly the idea of reverence in fasting. This year I have felt to do a Daniel fast. Over previous years I've done a number of different fasts, including a full food fast, but this year I felt prompted to do a Daniel fast, which finds its basis in the story of Daniel. And we see that as we read in Daniel's life, that when they were taken into captivity, he was offered to eat the king's food, and he refused to do that. He didn't want to defile himself. I'll read from Daniel chapter 1 verse 8. It says, "But Daniel was determined not to defile himself by eating the food and the wine given to them by the king. He asked the chief of staff for permission to not eat these unacceptable foods. Now God had given the chief of staff both respect and affection for Daniel, and eventually he gives him permission to not eat the meat and the wine that the other people were eating that the king had prepared for them. But it's really interesting to see his reasoning for that was that he didn't want to defile himself by what he was consuming. And I see that as an act of reverence, that Daniel, he didn't want to eat something that would offend God or would offend his conscience. And so out of his reverence and his esteem for God, he changed his diet. As I've been doing this Daniel fast, I've seen that's kind of what I'm learning in this. So if I go back about 6 days ago, I'll just go to the fridge, grab out something to eat, go into the cupboard, grab a muesli bar, driving down the street, feeling hungry, go to Macca's, grab a Big Mac. Didn't really put a lot of thought into what I was eating, but as I've been doing this Daniel fast, I really have to think, is that an okay food for this fast? What's in that? What's the preservatives? Is there added sugar? Is there anything like that? Which has really made me think about what we allow to go into our bodies on a natural sense with the food, but then on a deeper sense of our spiritual life, like what are we allowing to go into us and how much of that actually would defile us? And so I'm learning on this fast to really consider what I put in and how choosy or how picky I am to not wanting to defile myself out of a desire to actually honor God with my life, because what goes in affects what happens within and then affects what comes out. So I'm learning a lot on this fast, and thinking more and more with what I'm choosing to eat or what I'm allowed to eat on the fast, and the spiritual lesson connected to that. And so I guess for this morning, just to put that to us to consider, do we think about what goes in, whether it's what we watch, what we listen to, whether it's what we immerse ourselves in, conversations, even now with the stuff that's happening in our world? Are we allowing fear and all of this other stuff to just consume us, or are we aware of what we're allowing into our minds and our hearts, because it does affect us? So thought for today, and something perhaps for you to go away and consider with God, is are there things that are coming into my life that I'm allowing to go in that may be defiling me, that may be affecting me, that maybe aren't too healthy for me, and asking God how he can help you to change your diet. Have a great day. Peace.